Oh my goodness, I did it. I did the training this weekend and I'm ready to take my first class. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Okay, now I need to see your group fitness card and your CPR card. What? Has this happened to you? You totally went and took that training class. You're super excited and you're ready to go teach that first class, and you head to the gym or you look at that job description. Now all of a sudden it says you need a group fitness certification. You're like, I got that. I took this class. All right, so today I'm going to give you the insider scoop on group fitness certification that is specific about AFAA. All right, stay tuned. Hey there, it's Jamie with Badass Mama Gang, and today we're going to do another edition in our group fitness instructor series, and we're going to talk about the certification exam, specifically the AFAA. I don't know about you guys, but this is how this happened to me. I'm fresh off my Zumba training. I'm super excited. I want to go teach my first class. I go and talk to the group director, the group fitness director, and she's like, first off, congratulations on getting your training done in your Zumba, but we're going to need to show proof that you've taken a group fitness certification exam. And oh, by the way, you need CPR. I was like, what? So I went out, did my initial search. There is so much information out there. There are multiple exams that you can take. There are, why do I even need to have this exam? There is different information about what's required in the exam, how to study, so on and so forth. There was also a lot of information that just wasn't correct that was out there, or outdated, or especially with changes in, being quarantined and lockdown, and what does that mean? So I thought I'd bring this video to us so that we could get the insider scoop. You can get information that will take you from point A to point B as quickly as possible to get that group fitness instructor certification under your belt. So what is a group fitness instructor certification? For me, I thought, hey, I'm going to go to this weekend training. I'm going to be able to then teach. This is my certification. Here we go. Unfortunately, that's just not quite the way that it works. So in group fitness instructing, you're able to go take training classes that will provide you with the ability to use the branding of a specific type of a workout. A really good example of this is Zumba. To be able to use the word Zumba in front of your class, or to say, hey, I'm a Zumba instructor, or I can teach Zumba classes, you have to go take their training courses that in essence allows you to use the name in front of the class. But to get certified or a certification, that is more of an overarching exam that you take for any type of group fitness class that you would want to take. And this could be dance fitness, Zumba related classes. This could be related to HIIT, boot camp, spin. Oh my goodness, like anything you can think of that is a group fitness class will fit underneath this category. Because this is a really big umbrella of an exam, what it's going to do is break down a couple of things for you. The biggest piece to this is you're going to learn how to teach a safe class with all, they call it different populations, but different age groups, or different, like you may have pregnant moms in your class, and you can't always do the same exercise that you would do with this other person on the other side of the room, just due to certain factors that are going on in that particular person's life. So this is the certification exam is going to break down what is some safety tips and how to do an effective workout with all age groups and all populations. This is also going to help you take what you learned in that training and apply it to your class. So a lot of times I hear people, they'll go to these weekend workshops and they'll learn they learn the vocabulary and certain moves, but they're like, I don't really know how to put a class together. Like, great, but how do I physically put a class together? So when I hit play, and then when I say we're done with this class, how does this work? So this group fitness instructor certification is also going to teach you how to design your class, how to create a curve if you want a curve, like if you want to increase the heart rate and drop the heart rate, if you want circuit training, if you want HIIT training, it goes over all those pieces. It's also going to help you with cueing, how to use your voice in a room so that you're not destroying your vocal cords. A good chunk of the training that you're going to receive in this is about your anatomy, how your muscles are working, and which direction that they need to go. So today, if you went out onto Google and you were like, okay, I'm going to search for a group fitness instructor exam certification, you're going to see top 4 in the United States. And these include ACE, the American Council on Exercise, ACSM, American College Sports Medicine, AFAA, Athletics and Fitness Association of America. And the fourth one is NETA, N-E-T-A, which is the National Exercise Trainers Association. So you're like, now what? How do you choose the best one for you? I'm going to be honest. I really think this is the hardest part, is trying to figure out which one is the best one to meet your needs. So I'm going to give you a couple questions to kind of think about, and that's going to help you drive down into those 4 on which one you think best meets your needs. Okay. What are the requirements of your gym and facility that you want to teach in? This is the biggest question. Seriously. Head straight to the director that's over your group fitness classes, or go look at job descriptions, and it's going to tell you specifically which group fitness exam that they're looking for. For me, I headed to the director. She said, I prefer 2 of them. I either want you to get your ACE or your AFAA. So that made, at least, that narrowed it down from 2 to 4. More 2. What is the cost? Am I going to have to pay extra for the exam? This is really important. So you want to look at how much is it going to cost to do the study material? Is there an extra fee to actually take the exam? And if I need to take the exam again, can I do that? And is there a cost associated with it? What kind of study material do I get? You have to really think about what is the best way that you learn. Some of us learn by reading, some of us learning by watching videos, some of us learn by doing. So really think about that first, like what is the best learning method for you? And then go look at the study material to see which one matches best for you. How long will it take for me to study for this test? Almost every one of the packages that you go, whether you're looking at ACE or AFAA or one of the other 2, they're going to break down most of the training down into modules or different sections. They will provide you with an average time that it takes a person to get through the modules and prepare for the exam. This to me is probably the most important part, and it's the part that gets, I think, left out a lot. What are the additional costs after I get the exam? What are the maintenance? How long is this for? Do I have to pay for maintenance every single year? Do I have to get continuing educations? But know what your costs are from the time that you passed your exam and going forward. So for me, when I started, kind of asking these questions to myself and answering these, it was very clear that AFAA was going to be the best one for me. They have several different plans that you can pick with your study guide information, all the way from basic, all the way up to what I call the Max Daddy. You have to pick which works best for you. For me, I went with the basic plan. This allowed me to have the online study guide, the videos, and then it also covered the cost of taking the exam one time. With AFAA, I knew that this was going to be good for 2 years, and if I wanted to renew it, there was going to be a $99 fee that was associated with it. Okay, so we picked AFAA. So now let's talk about what's specifically covered on the AFAA exam. How to prepare and put together a class. I'm talking design, choreo, music, top to bottom. Different training methods. This could be strength training, resistance, HIIT, boot camp, spin, dance, all of them. The foundation of exercise. And what I'm kind of talking about here is the why behind a move. Like, why did you just do that move? It does go over some nutritional information. I will pause here for a second. This is not a nutritional course, so it's very, very basic. And it provides just the basis of nutrition. Learning the different ways that you can lead a class depending on who is in your class. This could be due to the age of the participant, whether you have little kiddos all the way up to senior citizens, whether you have pregnant moms or you have moms who just had babies. This is also going to talk about the music that you're going to play in your class, talking about copyright, what you need to do to be able to play popular music in your class. It's also going to talk about sound. How is the sound making it into class, whether you need to use a microphone, whether you're using a different device to play your music. And it really goes over like your presence in class, like where to stand in class, where to go, where to move around, how to keep an eye on your participants that's in your class. And the last thing, it kind of teaches some business skills. You're building a business. So it talks about how you can talk to the different members in your class, how you can help promote your class, even a little bit about social media. So what's the best study material for an AFAA exam? AFAA actually has a really great study material. It breaks it down into modules. They provide you with different sections so that you can kind of go at your own pace. You can go back and learn certain sections. You can come back and focus on whatever areas that you feel like, I need to learn a little bit more about this. It also has practice quizzes, practice exams. They have videos. They have demonstrations. It is a great method of different ways of taking the material and absorbing it in versus just reading a piece of paper or a book. One quick tip that I would say is go take the practice exam. Just right out of the gate, go take one of the practice exams, and it's going to tell you really what you need to focus on. So if you may work in a type of career where you're like, I understand human anatomy and muscles, or I understand how to put music together, and maybe that's an area that you can skim the material and move on. And then there's other sections that you're like, oh, I don't know anything about this. And so then it provides you with a quick snapshot of where you really need to put your attention. And don't forget about Quizlet. Oh my my God, Quizlet is awesome. Have you seen Quizlet? The kids showed me Quizlet. Go check out Quizlet. Where do you take the exam? So when I first took this, the only option I had was actually to go to a testing center, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. But the cool thing right now, you can actually sign up to take this online. It's like a proctor. So you have somebody that's watching you take it real time. That's interesting. They kind of watch you watch your computer. Anyways, you get to pick which test how you want to take your test right now, whether you want to do it in person or you want to do it online. For me, my experience with in person, I signed up. It was super easy. There's a number that you call. They provide you with a couple of dates. You pick what's best. For me, I went to a testing center that was at a local university. And I walked in, they took my ID, they looked at my CPR card. I had to put all of my personal items into a locker. And this was maybe I don't know. So I had to do this. I had to pull up and they had to look at my arms and I had to pull up my pants legs so they could look at my legs. I mean, I guess people write answers on their arms and their legs. I would have never thought to do this, but anyways, they're going to check that. And then they also give you some earplugs if you want it, and you go into a testing center. And the thing about the testing center is you may be sitting next to somebody that's taking a test for accounting or for something in healthcare. It is a testing center. So everybody is taking different types of questions on tests. So the person next to you is probably not taking a group fitness instructor. It's very, very quiet in there. You are set into a section that has dividers in front of your computer and your keyboard. This is 120 questions, multiple choice. That is the same whether you do an in-person test or you do it online. It's usually 4 answers per question. The really cool thing is that you can skip through. So say you have a question and you're like, oh, this is super, I know the answer. Go ahead and answer it and move on. But say you get to a question and you're like, I'm not real sure about it. You can skip it and come back. Oh, and you get 2 hours to complete the test. How quickly do you get your results? Oh, wait for it. It's immediate. Okay, so this is what happened to me. I'm taking the exam and I'm like, oh, there is no way that I have passed this. There is no way. So I walk back out to the lady to start getting my items out of the locker. And I turned around to her and I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and, basically reschedule this exam. And I'll see you in, a couple of weeks after I study. And she was like, why are you saying that? And she hands me a piece of paper and it says, you've passed. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. It was the best moment ever. But you do get your results immediate, whether it's in person or you take your test online. So if you go online and you start looking at blog posts or videos about the AFAA exam, one of the things that you may read about is this practical. I spent a lot of time researching this to find out that that is no longer required. So if you go out and you're reading some old information about the AFAA exam and you come across anything that says an in-person or videotaped practical where you have to show a warm-up and part of an exercise class, and that is no longer required, and you could just say, nope. You just have to do the written test, the multiple choice test. So how long does it take to study? You can go as slow or as fast as you want. What I am going to recommend is you get the material, look over, just skim over everything, and then set a schedule, a deadline. So for me, I knew I was going to work on this on the weekends, and so I picked 1 to 2 modules per weekend to read through, watch the videos, do the quizzes, and so that I had a set date that I knew that I was going to take the exam. AFAA will say, on average, it takes 6 to 8 weeks to get through the material with studying and feeling ready to take your exam. How long does your certification last? 2 years. And here's the thing, as long as you keep up with your recertification, which we'll talk about here in just a moment, you never have to take the exam again. Okay, so you passed the exam. What's next? So the thing that you want to remember is you always want to keep up to date with your certification. You never want to let it lapse or expire, because if you do that, 1, you may have to pay some additional fees, or 2, you may have to take the exam again. And I don't know about you, but I don't ever have to take that exam again. All right, so with renewal, what you're gonna do with AFAA is they have 2 options. You can either do for 2 years, every 2 years you can renew for $99, or you can pay for the lifetime renewal, which basically means you've renewed for life for one price. The second piece to this is that you do have to get continuing education. And even if you do the renew for life, every 2 years, you are going to have to show proof that you did your continuing education. The really cool thing about this is that AFAA will offer, like over the year, I'll get emails from them where they're offering ones for free or heavily discounted, where you can pick ones that apply directly to what you're teaching or things that you're interested in. The other thing that's really cool is that if you go and get training in a certain format of a class, so for instance, 305 fitness, that was like the best training first off. So went and got my 305. In that, I was able to get continuing education that applied directly to my AFAA. I mean, that's like a win-win. You go and you learn a new format, you meet some new friends, and oh, by the way, you get some continuing education. Okay, let's wrap this up. And you've made it this far, so I want to give you some gems for hanging in there with me. So I'm going to give you my top tips that I got out of studying for my AFAA exam that helped get me from point A to point B. So tip number 1, create a schedule, a study schedule, and pick that date on when you're going to take your test and stick to it. Tip 2, take the practice quizzes and exams, like multiple times. Just keep taking them. And if there's a question or a section that you're on there and you're like, I don't have any idea what it is, that's the section that you know to go spend some extra time on. Tip number 3, memorize the muscle man. Like, seriously, memorize the muscle man. Tip 4, know your anatomy and know how it works. The different planes, how your muscles move, which way, which direction. 5, memorize the AFAA 5 questions. 6, use Quizlet. I don't know where this was when I was going through high school and college, but Quizlet, it's the way to go. Total flashcards already made. Tip 7, and I think I've already said this, but it's really important. Go take the practice exam. Do the quizzes over and over and over and over again. So here's my last thing that I'm going to say to you. When you go and you take these practice exams and the practice quizzes, it's very straightforward in what it's asking you, but it's allowing you to know, do I understand this concept? But when you get over into the test, the questions on the test do not necessarily look like what were on that quiz and exam. Instead, it's going to do situational questions. It's going to take the concept, put it in a situation, and that way you have to kind of, like, it's not just straightforward 1 + 1 is 2. It's a little bit more like an algebra problem. So for instance, you may have a question that says you have Mary who is 6 months pregnant in your class and you're going to do a core class. What type of exercises are safe for her to do? It's just putting the concepts together and applying it to a specific situation that you may see in class. Okay guys, that's all I've got. So if you've taken the AFAA exam or if you're thinking about taking it and there have any additional questions or more that we could add to this video as, you know, as kind of tips and tricks or inside scoop with the exam, let me know. Leave a comment below. Let us know. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, go be awesome today. Bye guys.